Let's take a look at how you can apply fonts and font attributes to artistic text and frame text in Affinity Publisher. So let's just add some artistic text as a title. Let's drag downwards and enter the word wild. I can select the text and I can choose from the context toolbar, which is very similar for both the frame text tool and the artistic text tool, a particular font. Now what I can just hover the mouse over each font entry and you get an instant font preview on the page. Now if you know a particular font that you're looking for, you can add the first couple of characters of that font's name. So if I wanted Open Sans, I could type in OP and it will tell me if it's available on the computer and if it's installed. In this case, I want to review further the list. So I'll just come down and I'll kind of like think of a nice font. I think we'll go with Athalas, so I'll choose that. And once that font's been applied, I can choose a particular font trait associated with that font. Now these font traits differ depending on the particular font that you've got installed. So some might say bold italic and others might say book, for instance. I'm going to stick with regular there. Let's change the font size to 250. And I don't want to actually give a bold italic or an underline, but I want to change the font color to a pink color. Now, I know that I've used the pink in this text previously, so I'll just not use this particular color wheel and go instead to the swatches panel and choose a recent color, and that's that pink color I've used before. Okay, so I really like this font, so I'm going to make it a favorite of mine. So I'm going to go back to the drop down, and then you notice there's a tab along here. It says all recent used and favorites. Now this shows all my fonts I've got installed, and this tab shows my recent fonts. This used tab shows the fonts that I'm using, and the favorites, when I click Athalas, a little heart at the end of the entry, will be added into favorites. Okay, so that's what happens when you have fonts installed on your computer. But what happens if you load a document which doesn't have the fonts? Perhaps they've been the project has been created on someone else's computer and you happen to not have those fonts installed. So if I do a file, open recent, I'll just open this file. And you see at the top right hand corner, this message says document contains missing fonts. If I click Font Manager, that shows me that these fonts are missing. So I've got two options here. I can either source this font myself, or I can review whether Lucida Grand font, which is the substituted font, is acceptable to me, in which case I'll just click close and carry on with Lucida Grand. But I'll just close this now and I'll go and get the fonts for installation. And I'll select these fonts, double click them, install them. Just do this quickly. And when I come back to my document, we'll find that the document has changed slightly because going to Document Font Manager, you'll find that all of those fonts which were previously missing are now available.